Very good morning. This is all about the lecture number 9, and that is all about the post graduation program in export import management. Today's topic is all about logistic. What is all about the logistic management you are going to be understand today. So what is the logistic? Logistic is all about the just a flow of the goods from the point of consumption, point of production to point of consumption. There are numerous number of things we cover under the logistic. Just like this particular photograph, in an image, you can see start from raw material suppliers to manufacturers and distributors and wholesalers and retailers and finally end user. We are the end user or consumer is the end user. So sometimes it might have certain reverse logistic also. So in the next 40-45 minutes, you are going to understand what is all about the logistic management, how the logistic management work. Firstly, introduction. Introduction marketing can be defined as a system of business activity designed to price, promote, and distribute satisfying satisfying product to a target market in order to achieve organizational objective. This definition assign equal importances to manufacturing, advertising, publicity, distribution of goods, and any marketing activity is incomplete if a well manufactured product of the right quality, product at the right cost, which is well promoted, doesn't reach the right consumers at the right time. That is all about the marketing is all about the very serious and very system of business activities designed to promote what actually we are promoting in terms of marketing. That is a basic 4 P's if we are talking about, that is called product, that is product, price, place, and promotions. 4 P's plays a very vital role in terms of the marketing management. So marketing can be defined as a very system of the business activity designed to price, place, product, and distribute satisfying the product to a target market in order to achieve the organizational objective. Suppose that you are able to manufacture the very good quality product at a very cheaper rate, but if you have failed to supply or deliver your product at a right place at the right time, it might have to face the market failure. So that is the thing. In a logistic management, we have to be maintain the flow of the goods and services in a such a manner so product should be reached at a right quality, right cost at the right time, so consumers can consume those product at a very perfect manner. The definition assign equal importance to manufacturing. We are giving the equal importance to manufacturing also. Advertising, publicity is both are the same thing. Distribution of the goods or any marketing activities is incomplete. We are not making the marketing activities incomplete till manufactured product of the right quality, produced at the right cost, and which is well promoted, but doesn't reach the consumer at the right time. Okay, so we are not taking the marketing activities in incomplete till if your product which is manufactured at the right quality at the right cost, which is well promoted also, but doesn't reach the right consumers at the right time. So that is the thing. If suppose that you just want to be uh, sell your product in the market in a very appropriate manner, so logistics plays a very vital role. For example, I have put it down one example here. For example, if the woolen garments don't reach the market well before winter, they have no values. Suppose that you have manufactured the woolen clothes in across the year, but at the end of the October or November, when the winter season will start, if you are not able to deliver those goods in the October or November in the first week, if you are delivering those goods in December or January last, so there is no value of those goods and services. Similarly, if they reach the customers well past the season, they have no value because those clothes or those woolen products or woolen garments are reaching to the customer after after passing the season. Then there is no value of such goods and services. So that is the thing I am just saying to you. Logistic plays a very vital role. The manufacturer therefore has to ensure that his or her product reaches the market in a time, neither too early nor too late. Suppose that your product is reaching in the month of July or August, even though there is no value of those goods and services. So that is the thing. We have to be reach out our product at a right time. Okay, so neither too early nor too late. If the goods reach the market too early, they lose their freshness. Yes, obviously, if the goods are goods are reaching the market too early, they might lose the freshness, and higher inventory carrying cost is incurred. We have to be paid for the carrying cost for carrying those goods and services from July to October, because the sale will be start in the month of October or November when the winter season will start. So that is the thing, we have to be send the goods in the right time. If the goods reach too late, if suppose that your woolen clothes are reaching in the month of December last or January or February, the customers may not be interested in buying them. It's very obvious, because in the month of January last or February, winter season is about to be completed. So there is no need of purchase those woolen clothes. This underlines the importance of distributions in the entire activities. The underlines the importance of distribution in the entire activities. Production distribution involves system in marking the and marketing, moving the product and services front the procedures of physically consumption. Okay. And in the modern history, as we know how the marketing definition has been changed so far in the last 20-25 years. Earlier market was the hold by the marketers, now market is the hold by the customers. Why? Because we have a numerous number of the product available in the market. There is a very stiff competition for the marketers. So that is the thing. In right now, as of now, there is a no competition between product quality, product price, product design. Right now, there is a competition between supply chain management. That is all about the logistic. If in the modern industry, logistic was not a defined function, the task of marketplace, the past purchase, material receipt, transportation, warehousing, dispatch, and documentation was handled by the very different peoples working under the different departmental heads. So these people learned these skills on the job and rose in the hierarchy according to the level of their competency. Whatever the competency they have reached out those hierarchy level. Whatever the skill set they have, whatever the job they are doing. Today the scenario has been changed completely, and logistic managers has to typically deal with a number of agencies which are subsectors of logistic functions. The concept of logistic has also changed significantly in the last 10 or 10-15 years. Evolution of the logistic can be divided into three stages. In a stage one, if we are talking about, that was around 1960 or 1970s, early stage of the 1960s or 1970s. The concept of logistic was confined to the physical distribution of goods and outbound logistic. During that time, we were more concerned about the physical distribution of goods and services, or we can say in other words that was all about the outbound logistic. Okay, and related activities included transportation, distribution, warehousing, packaging, material handling, and so on. The logistic manager had to deal only with the outbound traffic. During that time, we were more concerned about the outbound traffic. We had to deal with these many tasks. That is all about transportation. We had a care about those things: distribution, warehousing, packaging, material handling, so on. Stage 2 was almost concerned about, it was start from stage 1. Now stage 1 was around in a 1960 to 1970, and the concept of logistics was confined to the physical distribution of the goods and services, or in other words we can say it was all about the outbound logistics and all those related activities, including the transportation of the goods and services, distribution of the final goods from one person to other person, warehousing of the inventories, packaging of the product and services, and material handling, and so on. But in the 1980s, the concept of integrated logistic management was developed. What was developed? It was ILM. In the late 1980s, integrated logistic management was developed. This concept combined outbound logistic, physical distribution, with inbound logistic, that is called material management. We had to concern about the physical distribution of the goods and services, as well as we had concern about the inbound logistic, that was all about the material management. Because if there is a failure in the material management, your what we call your logistic management will be failed. So that is the thing. It was combined concept of outbound logistic and the inbound logistic. Companies leverage their inbound and outbound traffic with transport companies. warehouses, and other to obtain a competitive rate, because during that time it has started some certain competitive edge and everybody was more concerned about taking the competitive advantage over on their competitors. Also, the logistic manager had to deal with the both inbound and outbound traffic, because in other words, we can say logistic managers were responsible for efficiency in a material management as well as physical distribution of the finished goods. In a step one, we had tell you the logistic management manager had to deal only with the outbound traffic. In early 1960s or 70s, yeah, in a other word, we can say stage one, evaluation of the logistic in a stage one, logistic manager had to deal only with the outbound traffic. But in a stage two, logistic manager had to deal with the material management, that is called inbound logistic, and also as well as physical distribution of finished good, that is called outbound logistic. If we are talking about the stage 3, that was started in the late 98 or late 1980s or yeah, early 1990s. From the late 1980 onwards, organizations started thinking beyond the efficiency of their own logistic operations and expanded the concept of logistic to include all three forms involved: supplier, sub-supplier on the one hand, and customers on the hand. In a early stage 1 and stage 2, we were not concerned about the customer, but in a stage 3, which had started in the late 1980s onwards, the organization started thinking beyond the efficiency of their own logistic operations and expanded their concept of logistic to include all the firm involved: supplier and sub-supplier on one hand and customers on the other side of the coin. The jointly tie up with the logistic services providers such as transporters, warehouses operators, and others to create a strong supply chain. We wanted to create the strong supply chain management across all the supply chain management started from the supplier side to the final customer. What actually we have to do? We had we had done jointly tie up with the logistic service providers, started from transporters, warehouse operators, and other to create a strong supply chain management so we can take the competitive edge over on your competitor. The era of supply chain management thus began. The era of supply chain management thus began. The multiplied the responsibility and the scope of work of a logistic manager manifold. To copy with this additional responsibility, logistic manager must be technology savvy and possess new skills and knowledge of modern management practices. In recent years, we have seen globalization and advancement in information technology have added new dimensions to logistic operation. Planning the physical distribution, an effective physical distribution system need carefully planning in order to plan the objective of the distribution system should be clearly defined. So that is all about the in early stage 3. In the 1980 onward, organizations started thinking beyond the efficiency of their own logistic operation and expanded the concept of logistic to include all the firm involved. That is called supplier, sub-supplier, and the customer. Supplier, sub-supplier, and the customer. To jointly tie up with the logistic service providers such as transporters, warehouse operators, and other to create a strong supply chain. In recent year, we have seen in the early 1990s, but after the internet has been come so far in a market, technologies has upgraded in a very frequent manner. All those managers wanted to be survive in the market, they had to be learned very advanced technologies, and logistic manager must be technology savvy, otherwise they will not be able to survive in the market. They have to be possess the new skills and knowledge of the modern management practices. Got it? So, any doubt with the stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3? Got it? Now, what are the benefit of efficient logistic system? What are the benefit of efficient logistics? In the age of the universe globalization, in the age of universe globalization, that is called WTO, World Trade Organization is working toward reducing the tariff or minimizing the tariff or eliminating all the non-tariff barriers. Tariff levels the world over are also being brought down. The mantra of free trade is spreading fast, and manufacturers and service providers are now exploring the global opportunities. Just because of reducing the tariff barriers or eliminating the non-tariff barriers, what the marketers they started doing, manufacturers they started exploring certain global opportunities. If we are talking about the global opportunities, where when the logistic management plays a very vital role. Without the success of logistic management, we cannot think about the global opportunities. These The need to physically carry the goods from one country to the another has highlighted the importance of sound logistics system. This is the same thing I have been told you. Without the sound logistics system, it has not possible to carry the physical goods from one country to the another. It is now being realized that desired efficiency of logistics system is directly proportional to the distance traveled by the cargo. Okay. The longer the distance to be traveled, the higher is the efficiency demanded for a logistics system. If suppose that you are sitting at India, you just want to be send your cargo in a South Africa or in a South America. Suppose that the longer the distance to be traveled, if suppose that you just want to be traveled to the longer the distance, you have to be very higher efficiency demanded by the logistics system. Integrated logistics, which takes into account fast-paced technology changes, the forces of globalization, work as a strategic weapon of businesses. Strategy guru Michael Porter acknowledged the importance of logistics by assigning inbound logistics, that is called spending sources in procurement, outbound logistics covering the post-manufacturing delivers. Two out of five link on the value chain which companies can derive from their competitive advantage. Even the strategy guru, that is we call like a Michael Porter. Michael Porter also acknowledged the importance of logistics by assigning the inbound logistics. Well, means that means we have to be more concerned about the integrated logistic. They should have the proper collaboration with the inbound logistic, which is more concerned about the spanning the sources and procurement of the raw material, and the outbound logistic, that actually start after the post manufacturing delivers, post manufacturing process, which is mainly covering the distribution and the wholesaler, retailer, and the customer. Two out of the five links on the value chain from which companies can drive their competitive advantage if we are making a successfully integrated logistics system. Benefit of efficient logistics system: we can increase the operational efficiency. How can we improve the increase? How can we increase the operational efficiency while talking about the logistics system? The primary objective of any logistic, the primary objective of any logistic system is to make optimum use of resources available so that inbound raw material component and sub-assemblies as well as the finished products are delivered in the right quantity, at the right place, at the right time. As we know, whenever we are talking about the logistics system or supply chain management, the main primary and the foremost objective of logistics system and supply chain management, that is all about to manage it out the inbound raw materials component or some assemblies, so we can deliver the product at the right quantity, the right place, at the right time. This help the supply chain become more responsive to the ever-changing market demand at a minimum cost and minimum time. In international business, the choice of mode of transportation such as road, whether it's road or rail or sea or river or air, is very critical. The choice is made depending on the nature of the cargo, nature of the product, delivery commitment of the buyers, for delivery commitment with the buyers, and the cost of transportation is also plays a very vital role while choosing the mode of transportation. Other considerations include prevention of damages, theft, and pilferage. So this is the thing key. How can we improve? How can we increase the operational efficiency while talking about the logistic management? If suppose that we are able to use the raw materials in a very raw material component and some assemblies or finished goods in a very perfect manner, then what we can do, we can deliver the right quantity at the right place at the right time, and as we know, the supply chain will become the more responsive to the ever changing market demand at a minimum cost and minimum time. Or as we do in international business, mode of transportation plays a very vital role. But while choosing the mode of transportation, we have to be concerned about the in what are the nature of the cargo, what are the nature of the product, whatever the delivery commitment we have done so far with the buyers. If suppose that you have made commitment with the buyers that we will deliver you as early as possible, then you have to be choose the by air. So cost of the transportation and some other factors also plays a very vital role while choosing the international mode of transportation for delivering the goods and services. So in a very first step, that is called increase the operational efficiency. I hope you have understand. Further, transnational companies just like a McDonald's, Google, YouTube, Facebook, or Nike, Adidas, Puma, PepsiCo, Coca-Cola. So all those transnational companies with the multiple locations of manufacturing plant and warehouses must devise a system that enable them to deliver the goods to the market using the very shortest route, keeping the minimum inventories and avoiding the duplication of the product and services. Logistics system can be designed to increase the operational efficiency and help the company respond to market demand and service customer better than the competitor. In other words, efficient logistics means an edge over the competitors. So as we know, all those transnational companies, they have the different, because what, who are the transnational companies? All those companies which is running in the more than the 100 countries, those companies we call as a transnational companies. Yeah, in other word we can say those companies are covering around 60 to 70% of the world population. Those companies can be called transnational companies. As we know, transnational companies have the different multiple locations of manufacturing plant and warehouses must devise a system that enables them to deliver the goods to the market using the very shortest route, so they can deliver the product at a very in a very specific time period, keeping the very minimum inventory and avoiding the duplication of the product and services. Second is the channelization of realization. What is all about the channelization of resources? A company invests its resources for providing the services to the customer. A company invests its resources for providing the services to the customer. While devising a logistics system, the company assesses the value of the services to the customer. In other words, we can say how much the customer could be willing to pay determine the efficiency of the logistics system. For example, the frequency of a visit of a delivery van to a small town will depend on the product sale. Hence, a retailer who offers the higher margin and guaranteed sale is services more frequently than the retailer who has an erratic demand. A company with a limited number of delivery vans will there schedule the visit of these vans to various towns and cities depending on the probability of such operations. Thus, devising studies the availability of vans, their routes, and the profitability on each route. Thus, logistics help make the optimum use of available resources. That means channelization of resources is all about how much resources you have, how much customers are ready to pay for the services. Suppose that you are providing the very high quality services, then you have to be pay certain cost also. Means you customer has to pay the very higher cost. Suppose that customers are not ready to or not willing to pay the cost, then we will not be bear the cost of the logistics system. That is the thing. Channelization of resources means whatever the channelization of resources we are following, we have to be follow the channelization of resources according to the customer demand, customer need, and customer buying capacity. I have been given the example, just like a frequency of a visit of a delivery van to a small town will depending on the product sale. If product sale is very higher in a specific town or specific cities or specific village, then the frequency of the delivery van will be increased. If there is a very minimum sale, then frequency of the delivery van will be very oftenly or very rarely, once in a week or once twice in a week or once in a 15 days. Hence a retailer who offers higher margin and guaranteed sale is services more frequently than the retailer who has an erratic demand. A company with a limited number of delivery van will there schedule the visit of these vans to various towns and cities depending on the profitability of such operation. If suppose that you have very limited number of delivery vans, then what we will do? We will try to send those delivery cars or delivery vans in those respective cities where the profitability of occurrence is higher as compared to those cities where the sale is very minimum. Third is we can improve the customer services. I have been told in a very starting of the lecture that as of now there is no competition between the product quality, product design, product price, product specification. Right now, there is a competition between product supply chain management. If we are talking about supply chain management, that is all about the customer services. Because whenever we are approaching in the market, whenever we are approaching in the market for buying any consumer durable for any electronic items, because we are more concerned about the services. Right now, we are more concerned about the services, and all those companies who are able to provide the higher services, yeah, higher quality services, only those companies are running in the market, only those companies are getting the profit from the market. So in every organization, depending on the individual function, each department has its own priorities, as we know. For example, the production department would want all the input and consumable to always available in inventory, whereas the purchase and planning department we want to keep the inventory levels low, because they have to be bear the carrying cost or ordering cost or procuring cost. The sales and marketing department may insist on well stock retail outlet, because every department they have their own priorities. If we are talking about the sales and marketing department, they are more concerned about there should be well stock retail outlets, because they don't know when the orders will be come from the market, irrespective of the demand. This may lead to a stockpile of the finished goods inventories. The primary functions of logistics system would be to provide a better customer service than the competitor. We always try to provide the better customer services than the competitors. It means on-time delivery without mistake, defect and breakage. In addition, if the company provides personalized service and communicate clearly or directly with the customer, it adds to the customer delight. Suppose that you are expecting the customer delightness, then what actually we have to do? We have to provide the very customized or personalized services to the customer without making any mistakes, without making any defect, without making any breakage. So that is the thing. How can we improve the customer services? Because if suppose that in our organizations, if we are talking about, they have a different department, they have a production department, they have a dispatch department, they have a sales department, they have a marketing department, they have a HR department, they have a purchase department. The thing is that every department their own priorities. I've been putting down the example. Purchase department would want all the input and consumable to be always available in the inventory, where the purchase and planning department are more concerned about to keep the inventory levels low, so they bear the less cost of procurement and the carrying cost. But sales and marketing department are more concerned about the well stock retail outlet, because they don't know when the demand will become. So that is the thing. It might lead to the stockpiles of the finished goods inventory. The primary focus of the logistics system would be provide the better customer service. So at the end, we are more concerned about the providing the very higher customer services, so customer can feel the customer delightness. Now, what are the critical elements of logistics system? The following critical element decide the structure of the entire logistics system. Nature of the products plays a very vital role. Location of the manufacturing plant, where the plant is located. Availability of the infra such as roads, ports, airports. Availability of different mode of transportation. Dealer distribution network and government policy. Each element dictates the form of system. A small change in any one of these can change the entire logistics system. We will not discuss each element in a detail. Okay. So critical element of logistics system, these are the few elements which is very critically. I suppose that any small change in any one of them which can change the entire logistics system. Firstly, we are more concerned about the nature of the product. If product is a perishable, we have a different marketing channels. If product is a consumer durable, we have a different marketing channel. If product is a high value, low volume, then the logistics system or marketing channel will be very different. Product is a high volume or low cost, then we have to be opt for the different logistics system. So that is the thing. In nature, the product plays a very vital role. Now here we can read out the mode of transportation depending upon the product to be transported. The nature of the product also determines the type of packaging, the material handling system required. Suppose that in case of the perishable items, we are requiring some cold storage container. In terms of the consumer durable, we require a different packaging. In terms of some irons, or in terms of steel, in terms of some solid product, we will requiring some certain different packaging. In international business, where the cargo has to cover a distance of thousands of miles, the safety of product is a very important factor. Suppose that you are sending product from India to the South America or Latin America, that is Argentina, Brazil, or Paraguay, Uruguay, then then the cargo has to cover a distance of thousands of the miles. Then safety plays a very vital role, and the safety of the product is a very important factor. Then what actually we have to do? We have to do packaging in such a manner so there should not be any leakage of the packaging. So there should not be damages of the any packaging. So product would be reached safer. The product should not only reach the destination in time, should also react intact. Another issue involves the cost of transportation. If the product is of high volume and the low high value and the low volume, the ideal mode of transportation would be by air. I've been already told you the product is in a high value but volume is low. Then we always choose the transportation that is called air transport. The high value of the product can easily absorb the used freight. However, if the product is a low value and the high volume, the ideal mode of transportation would be via sea. Because if suppose that your volume is very high, product is low value, that means you cannot, that means the freight charges, yeah, that means the air charges, air freight charges, whatever we are charging, it will not be absorbed by the value. So that is the thing we have to be choose the, we have to be select what is all about the nature of the product. Accordingly, we have to be choose the packaging. Accordingly, we have to be choose the logistics system. Accordingly, we have to be choose the transportation. Got it? Any doubt? Further, we are moving towards location of the manufacturing plant. Normally, manufacturing plant are located either close to the source of raw material or close to the market to which the company caters. Yes, always we do like this. Either we are establishing the plant in such a manner where we can get the easy raw material, or sometimes we are establishing the plant where the proximity to the market is very in a coverage. So where the reaching to the final market, it's very easy to reach out the final market. So it totally depends. Another criteria for choosing the plant location is government subsidies available at the location. Sometimes governments are providing certain locational subsidies. Accordingly, we have to be set the manufacturing plant. In India, government offers various tax holidays to plant located in economical background regions. Suppose that you must have listened the one particular word that is called SEZ, Special Economic Zones. So we create the special economic zones just because of to develop the underdeveloped area. Whenever we just want to be suppose that you have started your manufacturing plant in a special economic zones where you just wanted to be get the various offers provided by the government, just like a tax holidays, rebates on the interest rate, cheap labor, cheap land. So it totally happens. Nowadays, survival of manufacturer depend not only in the domestic market but also increasingly on the export market. It would be more convenient for an export-oriented manufacturing plant to be located near the port or airport, so proximity would make the movement of material easy. Suppose that your target market is domestic market as well as the international market, then we have to establish the plant in such a manner so easily can reach out to product to the seaport or airport, depending on the nature of the product. I have been told in a past slide, depending on the cost of the product, depending on the volume size. So easily, so movement of material should be very easy. If the plant is situated far away, suppose that it's a 300 kilometer or 400 kilometer or 500 kilometer from seaport or airport, then the availability of the goods road become critical. In a country like India, this is very important issue because very often a truck carrying the very tall cargo has to travel extra mile due to the obstruction such as the railway bridges with low height, low hanging electric or telephone wires. The timely delivery of the cargo at the port airport is important because the adherence to the conditions of purchase order or letter of credit. So that's totally important. That's totally plays a very vital role because it totally depends actually. We have to be think like this. And this is very important issue because if suppose that you are establishing a plant in a very far away from the airports or what we call seaport, then what actually we have to do, we have to be use the road transport. In terms of India, quality of roads is not as per the standard of European countries and American countries, and there are certain other obstructions just such as railway bridges with the low heights where you cannot be passes your road trucks, and low hanging electric or telephone wire. So there is numerous number of obstacles we have to be faced while delivering your goods and services by the road transport. So that is the thing. Location of the manufacturing plants plays a very vital role. We have to be think, and we have to be make the decision very carefully whether you are for the exporting units or the domestic units, but we have to be think like that. Third, availability of the infra is the backbone of any industry or any country, as we know. If the infra of country is very strong, industry can prosper. The success of China, as we know, success of the Chinese industry in export can be attributed to the strong infra the Chinese government has created over the last 10 years. Not even the last 10 years, since last 20 years, Chinese government has created a very massive infra. Massively, they have created a very good infra actually. This include the goods road, railway, air transport, inland waterway system, efficient telecommunication system, modern port with the capability to handle all type of containerized and brick bulk commodities. Good road condition help speedy movement of cargo. Yes. So infra is, as we know, infra is the backbone of any industries. Suppose that you just want to be get certain internally success in the country, then what actually we have to do, we have to be create the very massive infra in across the country. We can take it out the example of the China government. What the China government has done so far in the last 20 years, they have created a very massive infra. They have very good roads, they have very good railway lines, air transported, inland inland waterways, efficient telecommunication system, modern ports with the capacity to handle all types of containerized brick bulk commodities. And as we know, good road condition help the speedy movement of cargo from one place to the other place. If suppose that you have the massive infra, you have a very good infra, so what actually we can do, we can reach out the product on time. Customers will get the right quantity at the right quality at the right time at the right price. So that is the thing. Good port facilities with a suitable material handling system help the cargo move without wasted of the time, without wasted the product and services. In many developed countries, land transport such as trains are used to carry the bulky or volume material. For such a cargo, the roads and the entire infra have to be very excellent, which is not possible in India, especially in a few states. In a few states, infra is very good, just like Karnataka, Maharashtra, or Madhya Pradesh, or Gujarat, even in the Punjab also. But there are very few states where the infra is not as per the international standard. So many ports in the developing countries lack adequate warehousing, material handling facilities. In India, too poor quality infra is one of the obstacles restricting the growth of export. Yes, if we are not able to achieve the good height of the export, just because the main reason behind that is called too poor quality of the infra. Next, availability of different mode of transportation. Nowadays, the export cargo moves on various mode of transportation. Containerization has revitalized the concept of multimodal transport. If the air service is available to an export of flowers or vegetable, his or her product can reach the desired overseas market in a fresh condition in time. However, in the absence of air service, the exporter would have to depend upon the refrigerated container to carry the cargo to the nearest port. It's very obvious. Suppose that you just want to be send the perishable item just like a flowers or fruits or vegetables from one market to the overseas market, then what actually we have to do, if the air services are available, then easily we can send our product from one place to the other place. If the air services or air routes are not available, then what actually we have to do, we have to go for the refrigerated container, which will be which to carry the cargo to the nearest port. This would delay arrival of the cargo at the destination because it is now possible to the transport cargo through various mode of transportation. The absence of any of the mode of transportation becomes weak line in the entire logistics system. or efficiency of the logistics system depend upon the availability of different mode of transportation. In India, the air feeder system of various locations in the hinterland could help the exporters meet their overseas commitment more efficiently. In terms of the, if suppose that you don't have availability of the different mode of transportation, it might have certain failures. So that is the thing ki suppose that you just want to be target the overseas market, there should be availability of the different mode of transportation, so we can make it out certain line, we can link the entire logistics system. Then location of the warehouses. Today, every customer prefer the hub self-service delivery. This is the result of the just-in-time concept of inventory adopted by the many companies. No company want to keep their capital locked in the inventory. Today, as we know, Toyota, you can note down one point here. Toyota, that belongs to the automobile industry. Toyota was the very first company who have started that just-in-time inventory. What is all about the just-in-time? In a just-in-time, we don't need to carry the inventory whenever we are receiving the order from the market. Directly we are delivering those goods and services without keeping any inventory in a stock. So today, every customer prefer the off-shelf delivery. This is the result of the just-in-time concept of inventory adopted by the many companies. And no person want to keep their capital locked in an inventory. Suppose that we have to be carry certain inventory with us, with themselves, then what actually we have to do, we have to be locked up certain capital. We have to be pay the ordering cost, we have to pay the reordering cost, we have to pay the carrying cost, we have to pay some transportation cost, we have to pay the procurement cost. That is the thing, we have, there will be a lockment of the capital. The warehouses help the industries keep the stock of goods which can be lifted at the time of consumption. The location of the warehouses is important because it helps solve the distribution problem. Suppose that you are keeping your warehouses very near to the port or near to the any good transportation mode, then it will be resolve your distribution problem. Beside offering the storage facility, modern warehouses offer many more services to the exporter and importer. Only there is warehouses is not only providing the storage facilities, they have some different services to the exporter and importer, while including the barcoding, assembly, custom bonding. Automobile giants such as General Motor, Ford Motor Company, BMW and Mercedes prefer those automobile component suppliers who can keep their stock ready close to their assembly plant location. Next, dealer and distribution network. This is an important component of the product mix of any company. They may have an excellent product which is attractively priced and aggressively promoted, but if it doesn't have an efficient distribution system, its success in the market will be doubtful. A dealer or distributor is a link between manufacturer and the customer. If suppose that you just want to establish certain dealer or distribution network, without establishing certain dealer or distribution network, your product will not be success in the market. Your product will not be reached at the destination stage at a very right time. That is a thing. A dealer is a distributor, is a link between a manufacturer and a customer. Dealer and distributor is the mediator between the manufacturer and the customer. A customer prefer the product that is available to the next door. As of now, as in a era of modern technology, we always more concerned about the product which is available to the next door. That is the thing. E-commerce industry has grown up so fast in a last few years. An extensive network of dealer and distributor make it possible for a company to reach the nook and cranny each market. A classic example of Coca-Cola, which has a very impressive network of outlet all over the world. A strategically located dealer brings more business for the company. However, if the dealer of the distributor is not conveniently located, it can lead to the loss of business opportunities. So what actually we have to do? We have to be make it out dealer in a such a manner or distribution network in such a manner so easily your product will be reach out in the market. And we have been putting down the example of the Coca-Cola, which has very impressive network of outlet all over the world. Wherever you go, you will receive a Coca-Cola product. However, if the dealer of the distributor is not conveniently located, it can lead to a loss of business opportunities. Sometimes we have to be lose the business opportunity. A distributor who is willing to keep adequate stock of the product makes the logistics system more effective. Next is government policies. The logistics system need to be designed to conform the policy of government of exporting country as well as the importing country. Government policy related to the sell tax, excise duty, octroi, modbet, motor vehicle act in India affect the critical element of Indian logistics system. In terms of the Indian logistics system, there are numerous number of the things which are directly or indirectly affecting the Indian logistics system, just such as sell tax we have to be pay, excise duty we have to be pay, octroi sometimes we are moving from the road from one place to the other place, modbet, modified value tax, motor vehicle act tax. These are the taxes which we have to be pay at any cost. For example, just like in India, due to the regulations related to the octroi and the motor vehicle act, many companies prefer to have their warehouses outside cities. Units in international business where many developed countries offer access to the product of developing countries under a GSP, generalized system of preference. I have been told this concept in a lecture number 6. You can read out. You can watch out those videos again. Exporters can avail of the benefit of lower or zero import duty if his or her product have already read the host country and been kept in a custom bonded warehouses from they can be cleared without any delay. So we have to be make sure about the government policies. We have to be maintain the logistics in the system in such a manner where the government policy can be intervene in a very minimum way. In a nutshell, whereas the each of the above element affect to the logistics system, they also affect each other considerably. Each element of logistics system is very important individually as well as collectively. Hence, exporters and importers have to give due importance of all these elements while targeting in overseas market. I've been already told you whatever the point and headings we have been discussed in the last 6-7 slide. Logistics system plays a very vital role because logistics is all about it has started from point of production to the point of customer, because without the efficient logistics system we will not be able to deliver product at the right quantity, at the right quality, at the right time. That is the thing, we have to be make it out the logistics system in such a manner so product can be reach out in at a very right time, so and customers feel just like they are the more delighted customer with the concerned companies and concerned product and companies. This is all about today's lecture. Thank you so much.